What's something that's not a cult, but feels like a cult? Curly girl method groups. Flatiron. Jail. Head eye. Jail. Sulfates. You right to jail. Silicones. Right to jail. Right away. No deep conditioning. Believe it or not. Jail. We have the best hair in the world because of jail. Wash it too often. Right to jail. Wash not enough. Believe it or not. Also jail. MLMs, but especially Mary Kay. I went to a convention once as the guest of a consultant because she was trying to get me to join. It was very Stepford. Also, she didn't tell me you were expected to dress up, so I showed up in jeans and a hoodie. Nutriboom. Boom boom. 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 Just by the by, Debbie Stovelman is happy, healthy and alive. Oh, Debbie dead. Debbie real dead. Call me Kevin's subscribers. It's not a cult, I promise. Yes, definitely not the cult of Gympicans. Yes, definitely not a cult. I don't know why anyone would think that. Praise Jim. The Holy Church of CrossFit. I'm a member of the not quite as well known Church of Orange Ethery. If you ask us about proper rowing technique, we'll all start chanting at you. Legs, core, arms, arms, core, legs. Rowing is 60% leg drive. Power, patience, patience. When I first joined 5 years ago, I came home with my little folder of information and coupons to local businesses, a tote bag, a car magnet, and the heart rate monitor, and said to my husband, I think I just joined a cult. Working for a non-profit. They tend to refer to employees as a family working for a cause, which wouldn't be culty on its. They definitely use it to manipulate employees, to work themselves half to death and set a culture where boundaries are thought of as not being invested in the mission. They also use your passion for the mission to justify working you harder / paying you less. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love my job and what I get to do. But I'm old enough to see what's been done to me over the years. The rotating door of young employees who are worked to burn out and replaced, though, I feel bad for. It's a hard lesson to learn. The Herbalife organization. They were charged with being a pyramid scheme, but they still operate in a similar way. There are several people I grew up with who became hooked on it, and they definitely act like they're in a cult. I worked with a Herbalife rep, and we got along well until one day we were talking about the gym, and he was giving me tips. The conversation ended up as a sales pitch for me to buy the products he was selling, and I honestly didn't talk to him much after that. Forced school songs that talk about being a part of the school forever. School spirit. I can understand it for university, but not for high school or below, which I didn't have a choice in attending. I went there because it was the school I ended up being sent to, ergo I should be proud of it. I don't get it. Some workplaces. The ones that push the we're all family here attitude especially. I worked in a place that tried to convince the employees we were a family. They basically meant that they would abuse you and expect you to take it. Because family. They actively discourage current employees from socializing with former employees. If an employee left because he was fired, it was because he was a bad example to the others and had to be excised from the group. If an employee left because he got fed up and quit, it was because he was a bad apple anyway, but they had not legitimate reason to fire him yet. Either way, that former employee is no longer one of us and should be avoided at all costs. One employee was chastised for liking too many of a former employee's FB posts. AA. I'm an AA. I like AA. It saved my life. But it is cultish a lot of the time. Also in AA, also love AA, also agree. AA is great. If you let it become your new addiction, it will be pretty cult-like. Some people forget we got sober so we could function in normal society. Yup. Can't just hang out in meetings all day and night. It's a bridge back to life. Get off the bridge and get to living. But same here. It saved my life and I love it. CrossFit. A friend of mine does CrossFit, and I made the mistake of saying I'm glad you found something that works for you. Got a tirade of why it works for everyone. I just went through at least 24 top replies, and shocked Burning Man isn't listed. Yeah, albaners are weird. Source: I was am one who has critical thoughts about how things work yet have found ideas are only cool if you're popular. Texas A&M University. In high school I made a presentation on the traditions at A&M. I covered as many traditions as I could find. My mom went there. My uncles went there. My granddad went there. So early on in life I knew I was going to go there. Right after I finished someone said, "That sounds like a cult." The Order of the Arrow and the Boy Scouts. Technically an approved organization, but it's cultish as hell. It's funny, because they make you do this big induction camp out, and the day after I got back from mine, my English teacher gave a lecture on how to identify a cult, and it hit a lot of red flags. How I survived a day in the woods on an orange, an apple, and a chicken bouillon cube. Peloton. Seriously. My dad hasn't stopped talking about his since getting it a year ago, and went so far as to buy me one for Christmas this year. Which is super generous and my fat ass will totally benefit, but feels like I'm being indoctrinated into something. The instructors are really intense and say culty things. I think the idea is to physically torture you to the point that you don't notice you're being programmed to spread Peloton gospel to anyone who will listen. I've been so bored that joining a cult where I get hotter sounds okay though. Eating disorders and any pro-eating disorder sites. Those who have an eating disorder often view their disorder as their best friend, giving them names like Anna and Maya. And then there are those sites to make it worse. They treat eating disorders like they are sacred and often post rules in a cultish way. One site I used to visit in my dark days even had the 10 commandments of Anna now. If that doesn't sound cultish IDK, what does? Don't even make me start about the weightless coaches on there. Undefined. Time to sort by controversial. I didn't know about that cult. People who own Thermomix machines spend that much on an over elaborate food processor, and I guess you need to double down, but man, they just won't shut the peep up about how it changed their life. Oh, cooking is so different for me now. Oh, it's just so convenient. Having said that, I did once go to a Thermomix party where they try to mind wash you into they're not a cult. Because the lady that invited me was recently divorced and pretty hot, and I figured why not give it a shot. I never particularly liked her ex-husband, so could have been a multi-bird stone throw. I barely made it out alive without my wallet being light and a couple of grand. Man, the sales pressure was intense. Some fandoms, especially K-pop fandoms. My Little Pony 2. I watched that show for a couple seasons back in the day, after wondering why several of my friends were hyping it up, including one that really surprised me by liking the show. Friendship is Magic. Pretty good show. Quite funny. Took a peek or 2 or 3 into the fandom, though, and Jesus Christ, it was very well. No wonder people who watch the show have a bad reputation. Got 'em. Mega churches. The ones that air on TV with a crowd that rivals sports teams, owns sports arenas, and has its pastors fly in private jets. There, I said it. The televangelists. Some families. If you're inside the family, you are accepted no matter what, and you don't question anything. If you're outside the family, you are treated politely, but don't really matter much, unless you act as part of the family. If you were part of the family, but betray them, you are excommunicated, and they spread lies about you. Anasanas. What tipped you off? The Latin, the constant themes of death and impermanence, or the low chanting? Pea sauna. Drinking RP, pea sauna and pea soda, the Holy Trinity. Marching band. If you know, you know. One thing that still blows my mind to this day is that people pay thousands of dollars to be in drum corps bands. So many questions when I first learned about it. Oh, so it's like being in an orchestra where it's your job to play and be the best in the world? Nope. You pay them actually. Oh well, at least you'll be basically famous or at least really well known for playing that instrument? Nope. The only people who even know the name of your corps or even what drum and bugle corps is in general are other corps members, their family, or high school marching band kids and their teachers. High school clubs, where you spend a lot of time together. Marching band and theater are the ones that come to mind for me. Any fandom, if you go deep enough, kinda feels like a cult. These past few months I have gotten super into Hololive, and well, all hail Corone. Multi-level marketing. I recently had a conversation with one of my friends who's obsessed with being a girl boss, so she joins all these pyramid schemes all the time. I just joined blah blah, I already forgot the name. Me. What is that? It's a company that does multi-level marketing. It's so great. You should see how much money the people at the top have. They basically became millionaires in a couple of years. Me. You joined another pyramid scheme? OMG, it is not a pyramid scheme. It's an MLM. People get those two confused all the time. MLMs are serious, this is a real business, and it makes lots of money. They taught us all about the difference between MLMs and pyramid schemes during orientation. I hate that people don't get the difference. Sigh. Disney. If you've ever known anyone who has worked at Disneyland, they will talk your ear off about how it's the happiest place on earth, and how lucky they are to work there. Well, pre-pandemic. Sororities. I have lived in Pennsylvania my entire life, and it would be hard to convince me that Penn State is not a cult. If you listen to people who have graduated Penn State, you'd know. No other college is as good as Penn State. No other college has sports like Penn State. No other colleges teach subjects like Penn State. No other college has a building like Penn State. No other college allows their students to use the library like Penn State. No other college lets their students use the bathrooms like Penn State. No other college has a roof that stops rain like Penn State. No other college allows students to walk down the sidewalk like Penn State. If any other college has anything, you bet your ass Penn State has it at least twice as good. I hate college pride, and Penn State gets the most of it in my area. Beachbody, especially the coaches. Essential oils. We get it. You're a single mom and you want to work from home. But damn, you guys sure drank the Kool-Aid. Working at Amazon. Hell. Just interviewing with Amazon feels like an initiation with all the leadership principles and whatnot. A few years ago, my sister introduced me to a new church, I forgot what it was called. Anyway, once I came inside, I realized it was weird the moment I came in. First, they asked for my email address near the entrance, which would have been weird on its own. But after a few minutes of preaching, weirdness ensued. There were a lot of people praying loudly, hollering how great Jesus. Some people were praying on the bare floor, I don't even know how to describe this. Even my sister joined in. Once it was over, I drove home, feeling a bit creeped out. I only went there once, and I'm not planning on coming back again anytime soon. I don't know about other churches, but this one was, in a word, bizarre. Salesforce. No, I don't want to build a community, go hiking or join 100 online classes to learn the basics. Make a couple of well-explained, to the point training videos FFS. Football club fans. Especially the organized group of supporters. I didn't find any specific word in English, but I meant claques, torcidas, organizadas, etc. Flat Earth Society. Their inability to understand that the earth is not flat baffles me to oblivion. Farmville. Diet culture. Keto. Paleo. Dash. Reddit sometimes. The hardcore deaf community. I'm talking the kind who insist that being deaf isn't a disability, intentionally seclude themselves from the hearing world, and protest against cochlear implants.